It's the middle of the grind, stuck deep in the week. James and Dan go live their spirits at its peak. Talking trails and airwaves, mountains in the air. Hopping streams and echoes, riding waves without a care. Explode. Radio out on the peaks, voices in the sky, strapped for a journey, signal to amplify. Pedals on the pavement, kayak rides ripple clear. Every path's a story, every sound we revere. Hump Day ramble, the hours alive. Adventure in their hearts, the signal thrives. POTA, SOTA, kayak, bike road. Through the static of life, their voices explode. Mic in hand, stories pour, breaking walls that bind. Adventures, the religion, waves our holy shrine. Rove and wander, talk and share, find what keeps you strong. Hump Day's happy power, fueling where we all belong. Hump Day ramble, the hours alive. Adventure in their hearts, the signal thrives. POTA, SOTA, kayak, bike rove. Through the static of life, their voices explode.
What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by, your one stop for everything Adventure Radio. It is Hump Day, time for the Hump Day Happy Hour. We're going to have a great stream. We're even making Steven miss a late shift, and he's like just shaking in his pants right now because he can't pay his taxes. Steven, you're still welcome to pay taxes if you want. But before we get started, let's give a shout out to the Patreons. I tell you what, in 1 week from today, I'm going to be streaming from some Patreon's house because I'm going to be up in Michigan. So I'm looking forward to that and the next Patreon meetup. Also, shout out to the YouTube members. Got their members only video drop today. I hope you guys enjoyed the bug report. And, if you're not a member, you just missed out. Also, shout out to the ever-changing board, the Adventure Club, Kilo 4 Lima, India, commanding. He was out of that lead for a long time, but he's got a commanding one again, where he always does, and a lot of moving and shaking. I'm not going to tell everybody that moved. You guys can just look at it and figure it out yourself. But thank you guys, each and every one of you. Dan, what is going on?
Man, not a lot. We are creeping up on 200, guys. This is episode 198. Man, we are getting up there. Whiskey Charlie was first in the chat. Brian, what's going on, buddy? Kent, Kilo 9, Alpha, Echo. Liz and fam are here. Whiskey 8, Echo, Romeo. Bill, what's going on, buddy? KO4SXH, Kilo Oscar 4, Golf, Bravo, what's happening, Mo? Toby, Alpha Delta 2, Charlie Delta, good to see you, as always. Brent, November 4, Bravo Delta Whiskey. What you're here for a little bit while the mower cools. He done overheated his lawnmower. Chris, what's going on, buddy? K2PTC And Victor, that's right, Josh, Kilo 4, Lemur Indier is here. Mike 88KB, hello from warm Northeast Ohio. Gene McPhee from Killeen, Texas, and 3XUS. And our buddy Ronnie, Kilo Oscar 4, Zulu, Romeo X-Ray. Hey, Dad is here. Kilo Delta 9, Uniform Delta Victor?
Not.
No.
Not.
Did you just put your son's call sign in your man? I'm telling you what, he's
Did he
lost his
really?
marbles. He's lost his marbles. Everybody, check him out.
He's
Richard, what's going on, buddy? Kilo 6, Romeo Delta Juliet. Good to see you, buddy. Jason Lockwood, what up? What up? Kelly Rose, KI4JAV, Chris W80X. Good evening. Chris Coble, that's
Whiskey Zero, Charlie Golf Charlie.
good to see you, man. You're doing great. Scott N2 TKT, what is up, man? Scrolling a Pete Knapp, the 0.00001 watt wonder from West by God, Virginia. That's KN8PPY. What's going on, man? Jason KQ4 GPT. What's up? My Toy Ostrich is here. K3MTO. Turd. What's up, buddy? North Carolina. Oh, man. Overload. KH6WI. This is 2 streams in a row. He has made it during roll call. I'm proud of you, Eric. Aloha, buddy. And mahalo. That's right. And what is going on, everybody? 198 is the episode number. We are here with our buddy Stefan. Kilo Delta 9, Uniform Delta Victor. That's him. James, what's been going on in your world, man?
Actually, it's Teven. He's Teven.
Teven.
Only
right.
for Terry.
Only for Terry.
Over Taiwak Terry.
Not a whole lot. Trying to deal with these band conditions. They did seem to perk up a little bit today. I mean, they wasn't great, but compared to what they've been for the last 3 days, they were on fire. This morning was great, but they sort of slacked off. I did have a lot of fun doing some band hopping today, and Toby followed me around and hunted me on almost every band. So that was a lot of fun.
I'm glad to see you got some of the bugs out of the radio, though.
I started on 40 and I worked my way to 6, but all the way through 10, each band I'd get to, Toby get louder and louder and louder.
Yeah.
I was expecting her to blow my speakers on 6 meters, but she couldn't hear me. So,
hey, little man is here. PP man, good to see you.
he says the bands are fine because he's used to people not hearing him. He's used to just calling out and nobody coming back. So,
Well, he has 110 watts now, so
Oh, wow.
he's Mr. Man now.
He can't use all that power without bathing in like hand sanitizer afterwards, though.
He starts getting the shakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bands were good. 40 was good this morning when I got you on the Sedubs. And yeah, sounded good. I didn't get to play much radio today because that blasted 4-letter word called work.
Same.
yeah. But anyway, tonight's our first episode of Roast My Rig. And basically what it is we're going to have people come on and show us their POTA setups and stuff and talk about them. And we're going to roast them, either good or bad. So, Stephen, thanks for being the guinea pig for episode 1.
I'll volunteer as tribute.
It was actually Stephen's idea to do it. So,
Yeah, there's some
he
other
kind of
YouTubers.
had to be.
Right.
40
Yeah, there's
meters
some
is
other
my
YouTube-
candy. Yeah. I need that on a t-shirt. I have said that for a long time. Not 40 meters is my candy, but like literally,
That would
I'll
make a
look
good
at
shirt.
POTA spots and there'll be 72 people on 20, and there's nobody on 40 besides maybe a couple FT8ers. And I'm like, cool, I know where I'm going. But
Yeah, that would be good on a shirt, wouldn't it? 40 meters is my candy. You have to say it kind of like the old radio voice too, and like be serious. 40 meters is my candy. That'd be great.
40 meters is interesting because even in horrible band conditions, you can always at least get one from
yeah.
somewhere. It's kind of neat.
40, honestly, unless I'm in Florida, There's some in
And
Florida.
Dan's not hunting you.
40 meters. Well, I mean, I'll still get activated, but like when people go out in horrible, horrible band conditions and they say, I was at the park for 3 hours and got 14. Like, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't fuss about today, because I'll go out in 40 and, when nobody's even on it because it's so bad and get 40 or 50 people. So
I was just about to say I was going to say a bad activation for you is you go out for 10 minutes and get 30 people.
Yeah.
And you're complaining. It's like,
now yesterday there was an activation when it was almost comparable to the soda day where the bands were at the worst. I went out and I did started on 40 CW and I got the Rose 5 and Steven. That's all I got on 40 CW.
And you start biting your nails. Where's everybody else?
I went to 20 CW and got no one.
Wow.
I went to 30 and got Kilo 4, Zuiet, and Dad. So I'm now at 8, and I went to sideband, 40-meter sideband, and got like 18 contacts, and I was like,
yeah,
okay. But
That's funny. You gave me a false sense of hope that day because I'm like, well, I got James this morning. I'll go out. So I went out midday, and I think it took me an hour and a half to get like 15.
Yeah, well, I mean, even though I did all of that, I was still less than half an hour in and out of the park because we all know it's hard to get me to stay. That's why when I did all those bands today, that was like a super long activation for me, and that's probably 40 some minutes or something. But
it's always fun during really bad band conditions when you're like struggling, like you spot and you call CQ and it's still like, say like your 20-meter run that you had, you didn't get anybody. You're calling CQ for like 5 minutes and nobody, and you're like, man, this is gonna be a long day. And then you get that one call and it's like, yes, and then it hits you. Now I got to get like 11 more. Oh crap!
anytime I'm having that null where I've been calling and I haven't got nobody yet, I start thinking, what am I doing wrong? What did I do? So I look, I'm like, am I on AM? Is my break-in turned on?
I've done that.
That was today. Terry even put a question mark in Discord. I was like, what's the question mark for, Terry? He's like, I can't hear you anywhere. And I look and my break-in's not on, and I turned it on and immediately had a pop.
I've done that, man. I've hit my auto CQ and it's like I hear it through my monitor. And I'm like, man, we're rocking. We're about to start rolling, boy. Get ready for this pile up. 2 minutes later, the hell is everybody? And I never dawned on me. I don't look at the radio that much when I'm activating. I didn't see the red light come on when it's transmitting,
All right, I'm gonna stop talking. Let our guests talk a little bit.
Yeah. Let's roast some rigs here.
Let's do it. All right, Vanna, photo 1.
Bam. It's up. So you're lagging, man. You're lagging.
We're lagging, but we'll make it through. So this is my new to 2025 POTA rig. This is my QRO rig. I took some kind of tricks from PP. I really like the fact of his concept of bag on the hook, where he has one bag and he rolls and everything's there. And especially when you're busy and you're not motivated to feel like you want to go do it or whatever, but you still want to go outside. I wanted to have a simple kit that I could just take 1 or 2 bags, and I had a 2-bagger. Like, I wanted to have everything that I could just carry one trip from the truck to wherever I'm activating, whether it's a short hike in or a picnic table across the parking lot or whatever. I didn't want to do the whole POTA wagon thing. So we have 2 bags. They're both 511 bags. One's for the radio, one's for my battery. So I actually, a lot of you probably heard, last fall I had a lot of radio gear stolen from my truck, which was my nice Bioenno 20 amp hour battery box that had the Gensun charge controller in it, USB-C charging, the whole shebang. I wanted to mix it up a little bit, make it a little bit more modular. And one of the weaknesses is I feel like my battery, as far as like the distribution. So one thing I would be interested in anybody's input or ideas is some kind of a battery power distribution charging solutions that can fit inside that bag. So those are the two bags, and we'll break them down here further. Dan, if you want to flip to the next one, we'll get to the radio. So the radio is the FT710. Acquired that this year. Absolutely love it. I have the DX10 in the shack. Didn't really want to take that out too much. It's just bigger and it is a power hog. But I was intrigued by the Armo lock system. So I actually got an Armo lock for Christmas from the dad, and with all the relocation kit. So I have the power pole relocation, the CW key relocation, and also the RF relocation. And one thing I did with the RF, I want to make sure I point this out. You'll see it on the photos. I actually choked the pigtail from where you see the connection to the back of the tuner. I was able to fit 4 chokes there. So regardless of what coax I'm using, I have it choked at the radio at all times, which it may help, may not. I'm having some good luck with it. So that's the radio system. I really like it. It's nice to just open it up like it is there, where I can just sit at a picnic table. If I'm feeling froggy and it's raining out and it's nasty and I still want to go activate and I want to have a nice scope, but I do want to use QRO and I don't want to deal with my 891 that's in the truck and it's filtering and lack of scope, I can just put that cage right on top of my dash on my truck, just make sure I don't crack the windshield, and I can just operate right from the driver's side. So it's nice and versatile for that. I can just throw the battery bag in the passenger seat, and I have a short power pole cable to power that up.
Have you had any heat issues like that?
Not yet. The fan will go on, and I make sure I have it kind of popped up like that. I've noticed, depending on where I'm at, and I've only been running the system for a couple of months now, but it depends. If I get a weird match on the antenna and I get some reflected power, even though the tuner's happy and it's showing 1-to-1, I'm getting a lot more heat back there, and it just kind of exponentially gets worse. But that's a concern I do have. I haven't had much of a problem. It's never shut down due to heat or anything like that. But yeah, it's something I'll definitely kind of look into. I'm thinking in the hotter months, if I do take it out, I'll probably definitely take it out of the bag, and I might even get some Reflectix insulation to just kind of make like a little tent or awning or over it, just to kind of keep the sun off of it. But I haven't had a problem. I don't plan on operating in the complete sun. I'd rather kind of be in the shade anyway. So
yeah,
we're good on that front. The tuner is the good old Z11 Pro 2. I think, Dan, you have that same one. Love that tuner. I tuned it up to 160 on a 40-meter in-fed half-wave on a 49-to-1 and got PP last week at one of my woofers in Ohio. So it'd tune up to 160 with a 65-footish sloper. So really happy with that.
They have good range too. So if anybody's looking for a decent external tuner, the LDGs have really good tuning range.
Yeah, they do. And I have what do I have in the shack? I have the Matt Y200 in the shack, which is good. And then I have the Matt, I believe 30, that's installed permanently in my truck for my 891, because I didn't want to deal with the link cables and that kind of stuff and have to hit the button. I wanted to be able to hit tune right in the truck. So the Matt tuners are good too. But yeah, like you said, range is phenomenal on that. And this is my typical kind of picnic table setup. I just have the N3ZN key that I got in Dayton. Absolutely love the key. It's kind of my trailer queen, if you want. I don't have a nice case for it, so I just kind of keep it in the console of my truck, and that's kind of my picnic table activating key. The Modern Morris that you see in the picture, the orange guy, that's permanently stays in that bag, never leaves. It's always there. It's either my, oh shoot, I forgot a different key and it's my backup, or if key's not working or whatever, I have that one as a backup. It's a nice one because it's built really sturdy, and I'm not worried about having a case for it because they're really solid. So I just have it in one of the pouches there. A little tip that I do too, you'll see the eyeglass case on the far right of the photo. That fits my Bengali Traveler perfectly. So I can either keep my shades in there, and it's Molly, so I can put it on whatever bag I have. But I could typically keep it there, and so I'll toss my Traveler in there every once in a while and have an extra key if I want to use that one as well. So Bomatech usually isn't with this kit. That's always just kind of my QRP because everything's super small, but also one of my favorite keys for that piece. We can go ahead and skip on to the next one. And that's just the front of the radio, just a nice money shot of everything. The one thing that I did change, and it's kind of good for everybody to know, the relocation kit for the RF is all BNC from Armalock. And what I did is I bought a TNC to 259 adapter. And so I just swapped it out because I just like the 259s better. I don't want to deal with BNC on my QRO stuff. So that's one little trick that I did, and just minimizes one other adapter or anything like that for that piece. We can flip back to the next one, which should be the rear of the radio. You'll see the good old cable management.
Yeah, so on this one, I like the external speaker, I assume that is, and the power mounted up front as well.
The external speaker, that's actually the CW key.
Okay, well, even better. That's pretty good.
That's the cool. Yeah, so we can kind of dive in that a little bit. So you have the RJ45, which is your microphone, which I guess some people use that. The other one just above that is the headphone jack. So that's all right up front, which is really nice. And so I wanted to relocate the CW key up front too. So
yeah, I like it. Let's look at the back of it here.
So on the back, I made a custom link cable just as a patch cable, have it zip tied nice and secure. Did the same with the radio tune cable for that as well. Right now, Dan's gonna give me crap about this, so you can roast me here. I just haven't been motivated yet enough to run the DC cable to the tuner. I've had really good luck with internal rechargeable batteries. I say that now, they'll probably die at my next activation, but I have probably 20 hours on that tuner, and batteries are still going strong on the charge of the 8 AA's. So just one less thing to deal with, but I'm gonna definitely hardwire it at some point. I just want to figure out how I'm gonna split that. I've been talking to PP, and we might design some kind of a power pole distribution block and kind of shorten that lead that goes to the front, tap into that to have a small fuse in there and go from there. You're going to say something, Dan?
I was going to roast you for that power. You're right.
Yep.
And I was also going to roast you. I don't know if you ever seen the back of my 891, how I have it hooked to the tuner, but I got a short run of coax that has right angle connector on both ends.
Okay.
Which it'll just be more aesthetically pleasing. You're not going to get any more efficiency out of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, it does kind of bother me. I would kind of like to find a couple right angles and solder them up. So I might, that might be we'll hunt for that in Huntsville. We'll search for a couple right angle crimpables.
Now, what I did on mine, so to power my tuner, I didn't run like a separate, power cord. I just tapped right into that power cord. You got power in your radio.
Right.
Because you're basically going to leave it like that most of the time. You're not going to take the tuner off the top of it. So just permanently hardwire it in. So.
Right. Yeah. No. So I'm just haven't figured out how I want to commit to that solution yet. So yeah. I do have the USB relocation as well, but I don't know if I'm really going to be doing any FT8 with it, but we'll see. I might be something I get bored with and want to.
You have to make PSK 31 great again.
I know. Yeah, I need to get on that. And you can also see the chokes on the left hand side there as well for that piece. So Yep. So that's the Armalock. Really like it. I put a piece of cardboard, and I'll probably get some kind of plastic in the bottom of the bag, because the bag that I have is a Rush 12 2.0, which is what's recommended by Armalock for this radio. And I didn't like I didn't want them to wear holes just on those edges. I wanted to protect that. So I might try to find a plastic cutting board or something and trim it to size for the base of that radio so it has a hard surface. Or I might find some good solid closed cell foam or something to add some protection. So when when I sit it down, it won't harm it or jostle it. So a little shock protection. We can go on to the next one, which is, I do have lag. So it should be the open of the bag. So yes, I do carry a microphone. I do it every once in a while. I also keep a mic splitter. So typically when I go sideband, it's with the dad, and so we'll put some fire in the wire on sideband for that. And I always keep a set of earbuds in there just in case. I have a lot of Canadian geese that gang up on me, and they're super loud, and they always like to just come over by me. And we'll have 30 of them right there at Abachi, and so I'll shove the earbuds in if I need to. The other thing,
all right. So on the topic of earbuds, that looks like just a cheap pair of earbuds, which is fine.
Go ahead. They're Sennheiser, which I really like. When I bought my in-ear systems for my audio business, I don't give the in-ears away. So those are like $80 earbuds. So they're really good for definition.
Okay. Mine, no matter what kind I have, I can use my expensive in-ears or cheap earbuds. I always get RFI when I use my in-ears. If I'm using a regular, like a good pair of headphones, I don't get RFI. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the cheapness of the earbud. I think the earbuds that I have in my go bags are just cheap ones because I don't care if they get broken. And that might be why. So I'm not running an $80, $90 pair of earbuds in there. So.
That might be a good point. I mean, these earbuds are for
audiology,
wireless in-ear packs. I doubt that's a thing. I don't think they're going to have shielding in that little bitty cable. I mean, they're very thin.
Yeah.
But I've never had a problem with those earbuds with RFI. So that's an interesting point. We have a guy ring that's for the 10-meter mast for spider beam that I'll use, that I'll kind of stake in. Brian's right. It's all RF in your head, man. What you need to do is you need to activate barefoot. That way your hippie nature will be grounded and you'll be good. That'll eliminate the RFI because you're creating a loop with your CW key.
That'll make it hurt even more when James shocks me with the antenna. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. So, all those little bits and bobs, they're just in the mesh pouch in that bag for that piece, and then you can kind of see where the tuner is. Another thing, I'll just roast myself here. I do want to forego the zip tie, and I want to do some really good Velcro or some kind of a Velcro strap with a little D-ring piece or whatever, and cinch it down that way with some the same kind of Velcro you use for like eye passes on the windows, the really hard stuff. I want to do that so I can take that tuner off and replace the batteries or use it elsewhere. Right now it's pretty permanent on there. I'd have to get a knife or something to pull it off. So that's one thing I want to do to get it modular. The top of
that Armorlock case, I've never seen an Armorlock case up. Well, I have, but I haven't really studied them. Is it, do you have mounting points, rails, or anything like that?
Yeah, well, you see all those different slots.
Yeah.
And so that slot, and I don't know what the term is, but it's like a T-nut.
Okay, so it's kind of like a T-slot. Okay.
Yeah, so you put that in there and twist it, and then I always take needle nose and just hold it, and then I put that. So you just have various L brackets that you put and you mount the RF kit or the the power pole connection. So they're all along the sides. They're diagonal, and then there's some long ones, and then there's short ones up at the front top, and on the bottom too.
You could be cool and just 3D print something too, though. Lock it in there.
Well, the power pole connector is actually a 3D printed piece.
Yeah, awesome.
that they sell for like $15. So, yep.
Cool. So I got to roast this. I know you're a CW guy, and you know you took the time to put a microphone in there, but come on, why the junky microphone, dude? I mean, you got to V-stick a real Yaesu microphone in there.
You know. That's
like one of these guys.
That's the good one
yep.
you got.
Yeah, it's like one of those guys.
Yeah. Yep. No, I can't disagree, especially after us A-Bing your microphone the other day.
Yeah,
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So just straight from the factory, no changing on the radio at all, Dan. I was messing with Steven on the radio, and I did that mic, and then my regular 991A mic.
World of difference.
He said, "Oh, that one there is way better."
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it just has more meat to it. It's hard to explain. Yeah. What I kind of want to do is just make a small mic. I know PP has his small mics that he has. I want to just kind of make a RJ45 to that microphone and have it just less of a kit, because I rarely ever use it.
All right, so you're saying radio in a bag. I'm not seeing a battery.
We're doing that next. Vanna, next slide, please.
Okay, that's the second bag. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a radio in two bags now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I have the bag on the hook, which is really just the radio. And so then I have different options for power. So this is typically my go-to option for power. This replaced the ammo can that you saw when I was at 1810 a couple years ago. That was donated to some thug in downtown Indy that we don't need to talk about. Yeah. So I replaced that Bioenno with, I'm not knocking Bioenno, but I was wanting to be a baller on a budget. And I also want to, I come with a lot of baggage. Nice. I wanted to try out the cheaper batteries. I know we had the Redudu wave of excitement year and a half ago, I guess. And I have a 50 amp hour. It works great. PP launched it out of the back of my truck once, and it survived that. It still worked on our activations. I guess he was not liking the QRO-ness of that day, but we don't need to talk about that. So I wanted to explore other Amazon specials, and so I think is it Medea or whatever, Medea batteries or whatever, Maddie, something like that. That's one brand that's very popular. This one's an eco-worthy, and I've seen a lot of people using those. So I grabbed a eco-worthy 20 amp hour for I think $63 on Amazon, and works great. 50 to 75 watt CW for a little over 3 hours before the BMS says you're QRT, bro.
We're gonna play hide and seek for just a minute. Somebody in the chat better tell me what I'm gonna roast him on this picture before I do. There is a roastable item, but Stephen, you may continue.
My open terminals.
No, I don't care about those. You should see my stuff here.
Okay. Well, and one thing too, if you look, and I'm surprised you didn't say anything, Dan, there's no fuse on the radio. So it's just an open lead just right there with no fuse. So I just kind of have a policy. Any battery that I have has a pigtail with at least a fuse on the positive.
Yeah.
So
as long as there's a fuse somewhere, I don't care where it is.
Yeah. And so my rule is the fuse always needs to be, if there's going to be only one in the chain, it has to be right at the battery of the source of the power. So I just make sure all my batteries have fuses. And then I have some pigtails with fuses. If I borrow someone else's battery or whatever that's not fused, I can put one in line, but I do that for that piece. And then I have a coiled up lead for power pole to go from the battery system to either the charge controller. I have the buddy pole charge controller, which I really like. I have a Power Film 30 that I sometimes take out. I also have an Amazon special that I have converted to power poles that'll plug into that too. I think it's a 60-watt panel, which I can get a good 2 amps an hour just to at least keep up with my receive power usage for that. And then I have an inline meter as well for that. One thing I might consider doing, I might throw a 30 amp hour in there. It looks like the eco-worthy 30 amp hours will be same footprint, just taller. I have the space, so I'll probably do that. I'm itching to know, Dan, what are you roasting me on? What did I miss?
All right. So I see the different color heat shrink, but why are we running the same color wire for both negative and positive?
Okay. Is there
that color heat shrink's different for the negative?
Yeah. Right. So how those come, stand by. This is exactly why. This is my dad in me. They come like this.
Yeah. I got some of those. Yeah.
So I cut it here and I cut it here. And then I just use that piece for the other side.
Okay.
So then that way I have symmetry as far as the because this gauge wire was different than the extra power pole wire that I had. So my OCD was I either keep the same color and have the same gauge and the same type, or I use some of my extra black wire from my hacked up Yaesu cables.
You should always use the same gauge for those listening for your positive and negative. But take you a piece of heat shrink and just put it over that thing and heat shrink it black.
I might do. I'll consider it.
Yeah.
I'll consider it.
That'll make my OCD happy.
Okay. Noted. Noted. Another thing that I don't have pictured here, on the side of the sling, it has a little pouch. And so I have a throw line, Marlowe throw line, 50 feet of that, and then a weighted sack that I use to deploy my antennas.
How heavy is your sack?
Which one? Left or right? Small or large?
The one that's on the left side of the bag there as you would be wearing it. I'm sorry, the right side of the bag as you would be wearing it. Your Marlowe line. If anybody doesn't know that, if you use Marlowe arborist style line, if you like to throw your sacks up in the trees to get your antenna up into the trees, using an arborist line, Marlowe is a lot. So, I mean, 1,000 times better than using paracord, because paracord is really grippy. And you will not get that stuff to slide over a branch. It will grab onto everything in the world that it can find. So get you a good arborist throw line if you're throwing stuff into trees. And
that's the sack. You were wanting to know the weight of it?
Yeah, that looks like a good 12-ounce sack there.
Yeah, she's a hefty girl. I have the smaller one for my QRP kit.
Yeah.
But this one's the first one that I got. So big fan. Yep.
All right. So here's my question. You have a smaller one for your QRP kit. So you're saying that you don't need to throw your antennas high with the QRP?
Not at all. It's just a simple, I wanted that kit just smaller in general, and it's going to be more of a hike in. So I just did the smaller one. You don't really need, the only reason why I have this one is because I didn't know better back in the day when I bought it. I bought it as a kit with throw line. So I would probably not buy this one again. I mean, it's fine. And I yeet it up 30 feet in the air or 50 feet in the air to get my line up there.
That a weaver bag?
Coulter?
Oh, Coulter.
Cooter? Cutter? Yeah. Or whatever. Yeah. So Yeah, you don't really need it that weight.
If you're running QRP, you don't really need a big sack.
Right. Yeah, it's all about how you use it, not the weight.
I got you.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on. Vanna, last slide, please.
Last slide is here, sir.
Awesome. Let me make a note here. All right, put that there. Cool. So
It's a nice blankie.
Yes, let's talk about that blankie. So shout out to PP. He got me hit to wax canvas sit pads. So they're big in the bushcrafting arena, where you can just it's wax canvas and then it's some kind of a wool fabric on the top.
Nice.
And it's really nice for I use it. You saw it on the picnic table, so it's a nice surface to have on. So especially when there's a bunch of bird droppings and who knows what squirrels did on that table or whatever, you can put that on top and operate, and then you have a nice clean surface. Or if the ground is a little moist, you can sit that on there to operate. If you don't have
if the ground is what
moist,
okay,
moist, and
so it's like a QRP puppy pad.
Yes,
it's a PP pad.
It is a PP pad. Well,
I like it.
Yes. So, yep, it's a PP pad. So that one, I forget. That one's actually from the UK. And shout out to Journeyman Handcraft from the UK. You can find them on Etsy. They actually are on sale. They have a sale till the 15th. I think they're about $30 US plus shipping. Really like them, and I have two of those large ones, and I have two of the smaller ones. The smaller ones are about an 18 by 18 square, so I'll use that if the picnic table or something, if the sitting area of it is still moist, I can put that and sit on that, and then I can put the canvas on the tabletop to do that. This pad has actually saved me and my rig at one point. I rode to my twofer, and this was earlier this spring when the weather was very unpredictable. I'm like, I don't care if I get wet. I just want to go. And I got to the twofer, sunny, beautiful. I'm about 30 minutes into my activation. Things are great. And then a big black cloud rolled through and it started downpouring. And so I actually used the canvas and draped it over my radio and everything during a 15-minute downpour.
Yeah, I was going to say, from your description of it, Captain Wrongway would like a link to that blanket. If you drop it in the private chat here, or just tell me where I can find it. I'll do that.
It's in Etsy. Yeah, I'll work on getting that.
From your description of it, it sounds waterproof, or at least highly water resistant.
It's aggressively water resistant. Absolutely.
So it's okay for Terry to activate with you and sit on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A pool, and then you can just do it and wring it out, and it's good for the next trip.
Looks like a chamois.
Yeah. Where's my? I don't have my phone here.
And does that fold up and go in your bag?
If you go to Vanna, if you go to the very first shot.
You're there.
Yeah, it's I have it on that side. So I have the ABR 50-foot of coax. I have that clipped in, and so I just have it strapped onto the bag on the side. Gotcha. And then the small one I'll fold up and place it on top of my radio over the screen, and it just kind of protects it as well. So I'll have the smaller one inside the bag as well.
That looks like some very nice coax you got there too. Would you like to talk about the brand of coax that is?
ABR coax. I use the HRAG code, so I won't get in trouble here. And fan of it, works well. It's the main reason why I got it was the high visibility. I never thought I would say this, but I want it to be seen when kids are running around. I always would kind of avoid being in areas of parks where there's not a lot of people, but sometimes they just come to you, kind of like the Canadian geese here in Indiana. So
I have the opposite look on that. So I don't very much activate when there's a lot of people around, so I'm not worried about somebody else seeing it. But I would like high vis coax so I don't accidentally leave it behind.
Yeah.
So
people have been known to do that.
Yeah, like this guy. And I have high visibility stuff. But anyway, that coax is also very durable. It's, in my opinion, the best coax you can use for POTA. I don't care what anybody else is going to tell you, because I can tell you that it winds and unwinds in thousands and thousands of activations and still works fine. People step on it, aka me and Steven. Steven about had a conniption because I stepped on his cable, and I'm like, dude, I have rolled this up in windows. I've shut it in car doors. This stuff is indestructible. So
You're talking to an audio guy, though. I'm a cable crazy person.
You should. Hey, speaking of that, you should bring you some gaffer's tape out and just tape it down to the grass.
Good. Yeah, I have multiple colors of gas tape too. Spike tape, gaff tape, board tape.
Absolutely.
Draft tape. Dan, I sent the link in private chat. I don't have my YouTube connected up.
I will paste the link to this this PP mat here into.
Yeah. So they come in different sizes. I think the big one is 90 sim by 90 sim.
I'm gonna have to short URL this. It's too long.
Yeah, she's a long one.
I should be able just to get rid of all the query string stuff.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan of those pads, and it's nice too. Sometimes, so one nice thing about this kit too, it still fits on my motorcycle in both of my two side cases, and so I also have a small camping chair that I take as well. So a lot of times, especially the twofer that I've been hitting in Ohio, which is nice. It's a bird sanctuary, and there's a big kind of deck that's a couple flights of stairs up. So I'll go up the staircase, tie off my end fed, and do a sloper, and I don't even have to bring a mask on the motorcycle, which is great. But there's no picnic tables, and I don't want to sit on the ground with a bunch of ticks. So I'll actually just take my camping chair, sit it in the field, and then the pad sits on the ground, and I put all my gear on the pad. And then that way, when I do my late shift and the moisture of the ground kind of comes up, it keeps all my radio gear and the bottom of the bag and everything all nice and dry, which is really awesome.
Yeah, when the bottom of your gear gets moist, it's really aggravating.
No, you gotta do that.
Yeah, Turd wants to know what ABR is that, and he's curious specifically about the sleeve that is over it.
The model, James, do you know what that model is?
I'm getting it real quick.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and the sleeve is all that sleeve is wire loom.
Yeah, like a nylon type.
Yeah. So I've been actually looking, because I'm a DIYer, and I actually do wire looms for a lot of my audio runs for like drum looms and stuff like that for bands, and I can't find that high vis. So they have a unicorn supplier somewhere that's doing that. So it's nice though, nice nylon.
They might ask him in Huntsville.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll be there.
Vanna, if we could go to that last slide, I'll just finish up with a couple of things, and then we can talk about whatever.
Give me just 1 second. We can go to the bonus round.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Hey, Turd, my folder's on the other computer. I'll send you a message what the model is on that one.
And we can talk about the coax a little bit. There's you can get it with fixed ends, or is it FNC connectors, James?
The SMA, yes. Are you talking about where you can switch connectors?
They're modular. Yeah, they're the modular connectors.
Yeah, you can do that too. And I considered doing that, but it's just one thing to potentially lose. So I just went with the 259 cables. But it's a neat concept. Some people would like it, I'm sure.
I really like mine because I used to have an extra coax with me in the car in case I was using certain BNC antennas and stuff like that. So with this, I just have the extra connectors in my bag and just switch them out.
All right, so
Right.
PP Man came through here with a text message.
Oh, a text message.
I know, right? The model number for that coax is 218XATC 218 X-ray Alpha Tango Charlie, with whatever color jacket you want, whatever kind of end you want.
Yeah, you go to the build your own, and you can pick your jacket. You can pick how many chokes you want on it, and you can customize it and put your call sign on it. You can do a lot of stuff with them.
Yep. 218.
Make sure and use my code and save yourself some money.
That's right.
And the last couple of bits here, the one antenna is my 49-to-1 40-meter in-fed half wave that I built and printed myself, and then the other one is my DIY 40-meter dipole. So I love that 40-meter dipole. In my SSB days, I would get 350 contacts pre and post late shift on that thing a couple years ago. It was great. So one of my favorite antennas. So when the bands are really rough and I just want to do some 40, that really kind of gets me out of the ditch. The last thing, aside from the guy line for that one mass and the stakes, one new addition that I've been doing is the PP spike has a different version, and we can maybe talk about that later, James. We're trying to get more of a TSA approved spike kit going, and I didn't fly with it last time, but kind of modified some things where I'm using sign stakes. So it's kind of like the marker spikes for snow removal. It's those fiberglass. And so I made some 3D printed caps for the line and then have a modified PP spike for that. So those have been working really well as well. So pretty fun. And what I'll do sometimes, especially on my motorcycle rides too, I'll still bring my POTA 20 and I'll usually throw a line in the tree. But since that's so heavy, and to get the 49-to-1 off the ground, a lot of times I'll use the POTA 20, have it extended 3 or 4 sections to get that 49-to-1 4 feet off the ground, just to have kind of a higher sloper and get that impedance the way I like it. So that's why I have that in that kit. And then you can also see the small pouch on the sling where I put the throw line and the weight. So yeah, that's my rig roaster.
I mean, I think it looks good. I mean, the stuff I nitpicked on was really nitpicky. I mean, there wasn't anything wrong with it, you know?
Yeah.
So what's the total weight of your 2 bags?
I don't have a scale to. I'll report back. Not horrible. I would say under 30 pounds. I mean, you don't want to do a hike in for multiple miles, but you know,
I'm just saying. I think that with your 2 bags, I don't think you're much lighter than my 1 bag and my big battery.
Yeah.
But my thought on that is, it was not really. I wasn't worried about weight as much as size to get on the bike, because I can have weight on the motorcycle, but it's the size, and I don't want to have like extra cases and stuff like that. So I just wanted to have it. A couple things I grab and go, but yeah, I got your point.
I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
because you were talking about more power for power consumption and stuff. Yep. But I mean, for you, you really don't need a bigger battery. You're doing CW, so I mean, you can use a 20 amp hour battery forever.
Yeah. I usually have CW on the 710 at about 50 watts typically, and that gives me about 3.5 hours.
How are you even friends with PP Man?
It's been a shaky relationship, but I did activate with my KX2 this morning, actually. So
50,
yeah,
50-watt CW.
That's the way to roll,
yeah.
baby.
So he and I have had some discussions about this. So we'll go down this rabbit hole for a little bit. So he's like, "Well, what's the struggle and what's the challenge?" I'm like, "Well,
That's the point.
it's the struggle." No, the struggle is the other way around. So think of it this way. If I'm pushing more power than a lot of CW guys that are doing 10, 20 watts or whatever, I then have the challenge to actually have to hear and copy and use my filters, and I have to be the one to struggle to copy. And that's upping my copy game a little bit when it comes to that. So it's really fun to be able to reach out and touch California when I wouldn't have potentially at a certain time of day on a certain band, and I'll be able to copy that, that weird call or whatever, or some DX. So I've been enjoying getting different call signs because of it. So
Yeah, that's
saved
like
our relationship
that's like
a little bit.
amplifier CW to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not needed, and it's a lot of times overkill. But a lot of times, especially on my late shifts and when the bands are busy, I really like having the scope. It's really helped me, and I became the next level CW operator where I'm running my filters pretty narrow now, and I'll hear a woodpecker and I'll look at my scope and I know that it's up or down, and I'll just spin my dial a little bit and I'll zero beat that hunter, get him in the log, and then I'll go back to my spotted frequency and carry on. So it's really neat to see your hunters in that scope. So I'll have a 5K span on my scope versus a larger one. So I'm only seeing, a very small portion of the band, and I can see my hunters, which is really kind of cool. So I've been really enjoyed. I love my Elecraft radios. I will probably be buried with them, but it's really neat to have a scope on a QRO radio to see that.
I've actually never thought about that. If you zoom your scope in to really close, so you're only seeing like 2.5K on either side of you.
And you're in the field and your noise floor is low, so you're
right.
actually be able to see it instead of just a wall of yellow.
And if you have a hunter like me who pretty much always offsets the same amount, you can probably just look at your scope and say, that's probably Dan. That's pretty cool. I never thought about that.
Yeah, so that's actually saved my relationship with Peepee when I start telling him about this. He's like, well, I have the pan adapter. I'm like, I'm not bringing a bunch of stuff like that. I want it all together.
That's it. I'm going to start the Braille CW challenge. So I'm going to learn everybody's off. I'm going to start narrowing my filter and learn where everybody's at, and then I'm just going to turn my volume all the way off, and wherever I'm seeing the light up, I was like, "Oh, that's Dan," and I'm going to call back and see if
there you go.
Yeah. Speaking of offset, one thing I kind of like about the 710 versus the DX10. So anytime you hit the clarifier on the DX10, you have to set it. With the F710, you can just double click on the clarifier button and it remembers where you were at. So that is really nice for me, especially when I'm in the field and I want to hunt James really quick. And a lot of times I'll be activating and I'll hit AB and I have James on my B and I'll get him and then I'll go right back to my activation. So it's really nice to be able to pop over, clarifier's already set, and you're good to go. So that's really a neat thing about the 710.
So I'm going to have to agree with Pete. QRP Hunter is the highest challenge, followed by QRO Activator. Because here's the thing, I can go QRP all the time. I could probably go out in these band conditions and do just fine, and not have a 100. But I mean, I can go out and get activated in under 25 minutes. I don't care if I'm using a 1/10 of a watt, I can still get activated under 25 minutes. But that's because people are coming after me. If I'm a QRP hunter and I'm coming after them, they don't have to hear me. And there's times where the bands are bad and I won't even know somebody's in there because there's so many big booming signals. And then somebody like Toby or Dan will say, Terry's down in there yelling his guts out.
Yeah.
And I'll call for him and then listen real hard, you know.
Or Toby's on her desk.
But yeah, man, that's a good rig, man. There's like I said, the stuff that I roasted isn't really roasting. It's just nitpicking.
Right.
Nothing.
I don't even know what PP Man is talking about. I like the bells too much.
Oh, I don't know. Ain't no telling with him. You got to watch out.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed everything kind of being together, because when I met up with PP last fall, I'm like, well, let's do a QRO activation. And he's like, okay, fine. As long as it's not my radio and my mic, I'll do it. Because that was when he was doing that. And it was painful. It was painful to do that QRO activation because I was so used to my bag on the hook QRP. I wasn't in my fighting weight. I had all of my things in different bags, and I had the whole picnic table full of a bunch of crap to put something together to do it. And he looked at me and shook his head. I'm like, dude, I get it. I got to fix it. And so by this spring, that's why I put this together. It's kind of PP inspired QRO edition. And so I've been really enjoying it.
It's a real good looking kit, and I liked it. And then you got some really good ideals and stuff there. I have to have more battery power than that because
oh yeah,
I do sideband, and I'm going out for multiple parks and stuff like that. And as you can see, I had battery drop in Dayton and was freaking out because I thought there was something wrong with either my battery or my radio.
Yep. No, I agree.
So.
Yeah, but for 3 hours, if you know you're going to be activating for 3 hours, that's good. Otherwise, I'll bring my 50 amp hour Redudu as well.
Well, this hour has flown by, hasn't it?
That it has. I guess we got to start wrapping it up here so we can head over to After Chat. Steven, what you got coming up, buddy?
Gigs this weekend. I'll probably be able to activate a little bit tomorrow. I'm actually going to do a presentation with this kit at my local ham club tomorrow. They're doing field day meeting, and they want a couple local hunters approach me to present my field kit. So I'm actually doing this same thing tomorrow here in Bluffton. So it'd be kind of neat to hang out with those guys.
Well, good deal. Dan, what about yourself?
Not a whole lot. As Matthew just said, Kentucky QSO party is this weekend. Start 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Central Time, June the 7th. If you're looking for some stuff in Kentucky, might be some good stuff on there. I'm going to drop links now to the Patreon and to our Discord, which we're going to go hang out in the after chat, which James is going to talk about now.
That's right. For myself, I am going to go over to After Chat, which is a Patreon benefit. But if you're not a Patreon, you can head over to that link right now and sign up as a top activator and get 7 days for free. But the catch is you must message me and Dan and tell us. Every week when I go back and look, every week somebody signs up for that free account. And nobody ever tells us that they don't get no benefits and they don't know what they're missing. So you got to send us a message and let us know, because it does not give me a notification. I have to actually go back in and look for that. So head over there and you can hang out with us. This weekend on Saturday, most of Saturday, I will be in Chief Logan working under Whiskey 8 Lima Oscar Golf for the Lewis and Clark special event. Our whole club is going to be there working the event that day. And it is a POTA, guys, so you're still getting POTA credit. We'll just be calling CQ Lewis and Clark, and I'll spot it on POTA as well when I'm activating. But other than that, activating every day, and I've been dropping a ton of videos. I mean, a ton. So activating videos, and you guessed it. Hopefully, I'll see you guys over in the After Chat, and thanks for coming by. And if you want to be on a future episode of Roast My Rig, hopefully we'll get somebody that we can really roast here. Steven did too good a job on us, man. We didn't have too much to pick on him. But if you want to be on a future episode, make sure and send us a message, and we'll get you on one. 73, everybody.
See you.